Hello, man of word, we truly appreciate that you joined us. We are glad that we can support you in your further development. Today's topic is about 5 lessons that everyone should learn from the book Dare to Lead, written by Brene Brown. So, let's begin. Welcome to amanoford.com, the most refreshing network in the business world. Why should you pay close attention to this? 1. You will see why perfectionism is not the key to success. 2. You will learn that you have to celebrate small victories. And 3. You will learn why the reason behind a certain action really matters. A leader is a person who assumes responsibility for identifying the potential in people and ideas and dares to develop that potential. When we dare to lead, we don't assume to have the right answers, we stay inquisitive and ask the right questions. We don't see power as limited and keep it. We know that power becomes endless when we share it with others. We don't avoid tough discussions and circumstances, we lean into vulnerability when it's essential to do good work. The main topic of our video are, what is perfectionism and what is not? A daring leader models and encourages healthy striving, empathy, and self-compassion. A daring leader practices gratitude and celebrates milestones and victories, setting boundaries and finding real comfort, and practicing integration, strong back, soft front, wild heart. So, let's dive in. Lesson 1, what is perfectionism and what is not? In this book is written that, like vulnerability, perfectionism is surrounded by mythology. Below is what I've learned over the years and shared in some of my other work. Let's start with what perfectionism is not. Perfectionism is not the same thing as striving for excellence. Perfectionism is not about healthy achievement and growth. Perfectionism is a defensive move. Perfectionism is not the self-protection we think it is. It is a 20-ton shield that we lug around, thinking it will protect us, when in fact it's the thing that's really preventing us from being seen. Perfectionism is not self-improvement. Perfectionism is, at its core, about trying to earn approval. Most perfectionists grew up being praised for achievement and performance, grades, manners, rule-following, people-pleasing, appearance, sports. Somewhere along the way, they adopted this dangerous and debilitating belief system: I am what I accomplish and how well I accomplish it. Please. Perform. Perfect. Prove. Healthy striving is self-focused: how can I improve? Perfectionism is other-focused: what will people think? Perfectionism is a hustle. Perfectionism is not the key to success. In fact, research shows that perfectionism hampers achievement. Perfectionism is correlated with depression, anxiety, addiction, and life paralysis, or missed opportunities. The fear of failing, making mistakes, not meeting people's expectations, and being criticized keeps us outside the arena where healthy competition and striving unfolds. Last, perfectionism is not a way to avoid shame. Perfectionism is a function of shame. Here's how I define perfectionism. Perfectionism is a self-destructive and addictive belief system that fuels this primary thought: if I look perfect and do everything perfectly, I can avoid or minimize the painful feelings of blame, judgment, and shame. Perfectionism is self-destructive simply because perfection doesn't exist. It's an unattainable goal. Perfectionism is more about perception than internal motivation, and there is no way to control perception, no matter how much time and energy we spend trying. Perfectionism is addictive because when we invariably do experience shame, judgment, and blame, we often believe it's because we weren't perfect enough. Rather than questioning the faulty logic of perfectionism, we become even more entrenched in our quest to look and do everything just right. Perfectionism sets us up to feel shame, judgment, and blame, which then leads to even more shame and self-blame. It's my fault. I'm feeling this way because I'm not good enough. Lesson 2, a daring leader models and encourages healthy striving, empathy, and self-compassion. In this book is written that, conversations about perfectionism within trusting and brave teams can be healing and powerful. The goal is to get very clear about where, as a team, we're the most likely to get swallowed by perfectionism, how it shows up, and how we distinguish perfectionism from healthy striving for excellence. Are there ways that we can check in with one another that works for everyone? Are there flags, warning signs, or indicator lights that we can all take responsibility for spotting? I've seen teams that are willing to have these conversations make profound changes, grow closer, increase their performance, and build trust in the process. Lesson 3, a daring leader practices gratitude and celebrates milestones and victories. In this book is written that, embodying and practicing gratitude changes everything. It is not a personal construct, it's a human construct, a unifying part of our existence, and it's the antidote to foreboding joy, plain and simple. It's allowing yourself the pleasure of accomplishment, or love, or joy of really feeling it, of basking in it, by conjuring up gratitude for the moment and for the opportunity. Whether we're leading a group or a member of the team, whether we're working in a formal or informal recognition program, it is our responsibility to say to the people who work alongside us, we've got to stop and celebrate one another and our victories, no matter how small. Yes, there's more work to be done, and things could go sideways in an hour, but that will never take away from the fact that we need to celebrate an accomplishment right now. Lesson 4: Setting Boundaries and Finding Real Comfort. In this book is written that, our research shows that participants named vulnerability, resentment, and anxiety as the biggest drivers of numbing, and resentment is almost always related to a lack of boundaries. In the end, the cure for numbing is developing tools and practices that allow you to lean into discomfort and renew your spirit. First, when we're feeling that edge, instead of asking ourselves what's the quickest way to make these feelings go away, ask, what are these feelings and where did they come from? Second, figure out what brings you real comfort and renewal, not just numbing. We deserve real comfort. The author Jennifer Loden calls our numbing devices shadow comforts. When we're anxious, disconnected, vulnerable, alone, and feeling helpless, booze and food and work and binge watching endless hours of TV feel like comfort, but in reality they're only casting their long shadows over our lives. Loden writes, shadow comforts can take any form, it's not what you do, it's why you do it that makes the difference. You can eat a piece of chocolate as a holy wafer of sweetness, a real comfort, or you can cram an entire chocolate bar into your mouth without even tasting it in a frantic attempt to soothe yourself, a shadow comfort. You can chat on message boards for half an hour and be energized by community and ready to go back to work, or you can chat on message boards because you're avoiding talking to your partner about how angry he or she made you last night. What emerged from the data on numbing was exactly what Loden speaks to: it's not what you do, it's why you do it that makes the difference. The invitation is to think about the intention behind our numbing choices and, if helpful, to discuss these issues with family, close friends, or a helping professional. Lesson 5: Practicing Integration, Strong Back, Soft Front, Wild Heart. In this book is written that, here's what my teacher Roshi Joan Halifax says about the integration of strong back and soft front: all too often our so-called strength comes from fear, not love. Instead of having a strong back, many of us have a defended front shielding a weak spine. In other words, we walk around brittle and defensive, trying to conceal our lack of confidence. If we strengthen our backs, metaphorically speaking, and develop a spine that's flexible but sturdy, then we can risk having a front that's soft and open. How can we give and accept care with strong back, soft front compassion, moving past fear into a place of genuine tenderness? I believe it comes about when we can be truly transparent, seeing the world clearly and letting the world see into us. For me, that strong back is grounded confidence and boundaries. The soft front is staying vulnerable and curious. The mark of a wild heart is living out these paradoxes in our lives and not giving into the either/or BS that reduces us. It's showing up in our vulnerability and our courage and, above all else, being both fierce and kind. Which are the best things to remember from this? 1. Perfectionism is not the key to success. 2. Celebrate small victories. And 3. It's not what you do, it's why you do it that makes the difference. Well, our list ends here. Let us know in the comments section what are your thoughts about our list. Thank you for watching until the end, and if you found this helpful, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell button to be notified for every new learning opportunity. And always remember, man of word, be aware of the person that you can become.